Hi again, students. Welcome to another glorious fraction video with Mrs. Rich. You might not think it's glorious, but it's going to be glorious when you know how to do it. So we are talking about dividing fractions this time. If you look up here, we've got 1/4 shaded in, divided by 2/3, also shaded in, and we don't know what the answer is. Division of fractions is actually very, very similar to multiplication of fractions with one extra step added in. And in order to know how to do that, you need an extra vocabulary word called the reciprocal. So the reciprocal of a fraction is when you flip that fraction over. If we look at 1/2, for example, the reciprocal of 1/2 equals 2/1. I just moved the bottom to the top and the top to the bottom. The reciprocal of 1/2 is 2/1. What we are going to do to divide fraction by fraction is that you multiply the first fraction by the reciprocal of the second fraction. So we're going to take 1/4 and multiply it by the reciprocal of 2/3. The reciprocal of 2/3 is going to be 3/2. Now, some of you know a different method to do this. You're actually doing the same thing, except it's really easy to confuse that with a method of doing something else that has nothing to do with fractions. So what we want you to do now, also because this is 8th grade and you're going to be going into algebra next year, is we want you to know the words multiply by the reciprocal. So you take the first fraction and you multiply it by the reciprocal of the second fraction, and that is how you divide a fraction divided by a fraction. Now, let's go down here and actually do this arithmetic. So we have the first fraction multiplied by the reciprocal of the second fraction. From our other video, you know that to multiply fractions, you multiply numerator times numerator to give you numerator, so 1 times 3 equals 3, and denominator times denominator gives you denominator, so 4 times 2 equals 8. And our answer is 3/8. So 1/4 divided by 2/3 gives us 3/8. So I'm going to divide this really quickly into 8 pieces. So that would be 1, 2, 3/8. If we could add those things in together, that is what we would actually get. 1/4 divided by 2/3 gives us 3/8. So you can see how that would come out visually, but the best thing that you need to remember is that you take the first fraction and multiply it by the reciprocal of the second fraction.